me just tell you briefly about my conversion experience. I read the book of John, not Genesis, not Matthew. I just began in the book of John. I'm reading the book. I'm going like, wow, this guy Jesus, he's a really good dude, right? And I'm thinking as I'm reading along, um, right around where I get to about chapter 14, I'm thinking, oh wow, this guy Jesus is God. And then boom, I'm a Christian. That's how it began.
Right, but like,
Boom.
how is
And
that
then I
different?
became Christian.
That's not really
Boom.
the whole
Boom, there it is.
story.
Boom. I'm no longer a drug addict. Boom.
Morbid curiosity,
Boom. Just like that.
like, do you acknowledge?
It's not really the whole story. He's
Yeah.
leaving out. Well, actually, I'm not exactly sure it's relevant, Charles Martel, but John's leaving out the part where the Bible began to glow and the letters lifted off the pages and swirled around like in The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, and he's not joking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could have added that.
Oh, yeah, just slip your mind, John. Slip your mind.
I didn't
Just
think it was
conveniently
important.
left that out.
Well, as it
Oh,
pertains
it's not important?
to the
Oh.
as it pertains to the inference issue, like you understand when you read like a normal sentence, let's say like a
Bro, you still want to
history.
talk about like grammar when the dude just like told you about the words lifting off the page, swirling around? Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean,
No, about that swirling around, that's probably your imagination and not what I experienced.
Why didn't you think that part was maybe worth mentioning, John? Why? Why
About
is
the
that?
twirling around, it didn't. Oh, why did I think?
The Bible glowing and the letters lifting off the pages.
Well, I'll tell you what. Okay. I think it's important for me to tell people that I became a Christian by simply reading Scripture. Now, was there some
Oh,
sort
the
of
glowing Bible
strong
and
spiritual
the
experience that I
letters
did?
lifting off the page like in the Little Mermaid had nothing to do with it? You saw that and was like, oh, that's just a Tuesday.
Yeah, it was definitely something.
So, more convincing to you was when you said, huh, this Jesus is a nice guy. That was more convincing than the glowing Bible and the letters lifting off the pages of the Bible.
No, what I'm saying is that particular experience.
So the more convincing part you left out.
Well, here's the point, right? The as I'm reading, it's not the case that the glowing remains, the letters are lifted, and I'm reading lifted letters or anything like that, right? Prior to reading, yes, I did have that type of experience, and I began to read. When I actually began to read, well, the letters were no longer lifted, and nor was it glowing anymore.
Just didn't feel it was necessary to mention it.
John, I'm really surprised that's not your.
Let me tell you, okay. I have had a few spiritual experiences like that. I don't like to mention any of them to atheists. I mean,
Yeah, but how
now-
is that not your thing, John? Why isn't your thing being John Lee, the glowing Bible guy? Why don't you tell that story all the
mention
time?
it to other believers, right? That's a different.
Can you
thing.
imagine what else he's leaving out? Maybe
think
maybe
what
we
is
got the
that he's
truncated
embarrassed.
version.
I've had quite a bit of spiritual experience. I just don't like talk. I mean, I don't want to be offensive.
Well,
but
tell
it's
us
like,
another one. Give me another one.
Tell the
like I said,
T-Rex
I don't
one.
want to be a like I said. I don't
Oh,
want to
you
be
don't.
offensive, but it's like
You
it's
don't
like
like to
pearls
talk
of
about
swine,
your own testimonial of you finding
That's
Christ.
how I look at it.
You don't like not something you're really interested in, John.
No, do you
don't like it?
see me bragging about the things that I've experienced? Of course not.
Well, why does it have to be bragging? Why does it have to be bragging?
I'm not even happy that I even mentioned that. To be honest with you guys, I don't even know.
I think it's
context I was
because you see it
speaking of
as like it's hard to defend. It sounds wacky, and you're embarrassed. You don't really know what to make of it. Maybe you were just like, I don't know, someone dropped something in your drink. Who knows what you get? Who knows what happened?
Oh no,
but I think you find it embarrassing, and you. Oh well, then tell us the whole story, John.
It's just some detail that I didn't think was pertinent to the conversation.
Yeah, why don't you tell us the whole story, John?
You guys,
You're not embarrassed, right?
I could tell you the whole story. I mean, I was
Yeah, go ahead.
brought up an atheist. My high school friend, 3 years, I was my best friend. He was a Christian, and I was an atheist. He never preached to me. I couldn't believe 3 years he never preached to me once.
Oh my god.
Day of graduation, he just says he gives me a study Bible, and he says this is a graduation gift, right? Oh, cool, thanks. Why? So whatever. And I go to college. He goes to Biola University. I go to UC Santa Barbara, and I just had that Bible, lugged it around, apartment to apartment, just sticking, on the bookcase, and never read it. And even after I graduated it, I was, working this and that, and so might have been in a box at one point, whatever. And I started working, and then I have a apartment at Redondo Beach, and then one day I just decided to read it after dinner, and you know got the Bible from the bookcase, brought it to the dinner table, and like Tom said, the Bible glowed, right? Then when I opened it, the letters like lifted up off the page, right? I remembered there was like red and black letters mixed, as I recall, and I began to read the Book of John, and then what I just told you a few minutes ago. So is that enough for you, Tom?
I think that's pretty good. Now there was some additional supplemental material in which you were speculating about the nature of your experience, right?
Yeah, I do recall that I thought I was hallucinating because I've done hallucinogens in my past, and I've heard, watched movies about flashback where the LSD it goes sticks into your fat, and then when you burn the fat, you get like a trip and stuff like that. So, I had done enough LSD in my past to think that was like possible. Because like, what's going on? What could this be, right? And so I had those type of thoughts, sure, before and even after. And so, is that what you're talking about, Tom?
Yeah. And just one last question. When you finished your dinner reading the Bible and you went to get up, was your lower half turned into a fish like in the mermaid also, or is that not the case?
What the
Um,
hell, John?
I might have to plead like a lack of clarity on that point, Tom.
What's the next best spiritual experience story, John?
Oh, there's a few. There's definitely a few. Some good ones.
Let's hear
No,
them.
what's the next best one?
You're not embarrassed, right, John? Let's hear them all, bud.
You want? Listen, I've had
Like, I'll just save you the
experience.
trouble.
I've
Yes, I
had
want to hear
experience
it.
telling
Yes, I
atheists.
want to
I don't
hear
like
it.
talking to
Yes,
atheists
it's the
about
case that
spiritual
you're not
things.
embarrassed. And then
No,
the
I'm not
final question is
embarrassed.
yes. Go ahead.
No.
Let's go ahead.
The embarrassment is not have nothing to do with the reluctance.
I'll start it for you. So there I was. That's your cue. Go.
There I was in church, and then
Yeah, I'll start it
playing
off
with
for you.
God.
You were thinking about making dinner, and then you looked over to the bookshelf and you saw the glowing cookbook. Go
No,
ahead.
that it was after dinner.
No, this is a different story. I just assumed that the other story is also about a glowing something.
No, I never experienced anything like that since, and I've been almost 30 years a Christian, so that's a one-time experience.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
let's
have
hear the
one
other
request
experiences,
that
bud.
if any of them have demons, I want that one. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean there's some with those type of
Yeah,
elements,
let's hear it. Yeah, let's hear
like
it, bud. We're all
ghosts,
ears.
things like that, maybe.
Look, John, I'm not sure like what you're failing to understand. I do not want the Cliff Notes version. I want the full Monty, baby, okay? So let's have it. Let's hear it, buddy.
Yeah, all right. I'll throw a bone. One time, I was at church. This was maybe 5 years into my Christianity, something like that. Um, and so I was attending a full gospel church. Back then, I was not a Calvinist. I was a, full gospel, like a Pentecostal type Christian, right? So I go there, and this is like some Korean church in Hollywood, a full gospel church, and they had an American section. Now I'm not comfortable with Korean, so you know, they had an English section which had about only like 20 people in it, right? But the whole church is huge. It's like a auditorium, and so it was in the afternoon, maybe 1 p.m. or something like that. And so I walked in late, and they were all gathered in the first 2 rows, maybe 3 rows, right? And they were singing songs because they were just about to start. Well, I sat down halfway down in the auditorium, and I was singing along and this and that. All of a sudden, I hear behind me like the most beautiful voice I've ever heard, like amazing, right? And when I turned around, there was a girl. I guess she had come after me. Now she sat down and she had her hands up in the air, tears in her eyes, and she was singing, I guess, but it wasn't her voice that I heard. It was 2 tall figures, maybe I'd say about 6 foot tall, no wings, white robe. I couldn't really see the face that much, although it seemed very stoic to me. And but the voice that was it. It was just like amazing. So I kind of turned around. I like I said, I turned back to look. I saw what I saw, and then I turned around, and all of a sudden I started crying real hard for some reason. And then um, I think a little bit of time went by. I don't know how much time, maybe a minute, maybe more. And then I turned back to look, and the girl was actually gone. And of course, the angels were no longer there either. So um, I've had that experience. And I've actually told some people that, and they had almost identical experiences where it's like a stadium or things like that about the voice of the angel. And I think it was just for me, like kind of a thing that like even the angels praise God type of thing that I was shown for whatever reason.
Yeah, John, there is a not very well understood phenomenon called people getting up. You ever heard of that?
People getting up? What do you mean?
Yeah, like the idea of it, and I'm not really like very knowledgeable about it, is that people are in one place and then they get up and they go to another place. That's kind of the idea, right? And now, look, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert, but
no, I've heard of that. I don't know if I believe it.
Yeah, you heard of it? Yeah.
No, I've heard of it. The question is, do I believe it?
Moving around thing.
Yeah, John. You see, I don't know if you might, maybe you think that people like when they sit down at church, they go into like a turret mode and they're just like stationary. Is that what you think?
They're glued to the chair, you know.
Oh, bastards.
Yeah.
Like Triple B put super glue on the pews for them very loudly, as he does, and they just can't get up again.
So you did see 2 tall robed figures, 6 feet tall.
Yeah, they were pretty tall. I'd say about 6 feet.
That's not that tall, actually. That's like normal human height.
Right.
Possibly taller.
That's pretty short, to be honest.
Were they?
Oh shit.
To the dryer, that's.
Were they blue? Were they blue and very muscular?
No, they were like white and glowing.
It's funny no one else saw them, John.
Did they come off the page?
Were they sitting or standing?
No, I was sitting at if you can imagine.
Were they sitting?
3 sections of an auditorium. Huh?
Were they sitting?
Were the angels? No, they were not sitting.
They were standing.
The angels.
They were. There was the girl with if you could picture a girl with tears in her eyes, hands up, during the singing part.
Yeah.
And
yeah, coincidentally, the supposed
her,
angel looked exactly like Kathleen, the middle-aged housewife in the choir.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what.
How come no one else saw them, John? That's my question.
What was that?
How come no one else saw them?
Probably because no one turned around, and maybe the girl didn't even know they were there either. That's
no
what
one turned
I genuinely think that the girl didn't even know. I don't think the girl even heard.
Do you think they just appeared
what
to
I was
you,
hearing.
but no one else?
What was that?
I think they just appeared to you, but no one else.
I believe
Okay.
that.
So they weren't really there then.
Damn, all these experiences. Why haven't you opened a church?
No one to corroborate.
You're the man.
What do you mean all these experiences? I don't have very many, but those are like 20, 25 years into my ago. I don't get those these days.
Yeah. Well,
John, was the when the service was over and you got up to leave, did you realize that you were an angel at that moment?
Well, I'll tell you what, something interesting happened after that, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I can believe it. Go ahead.
sounds like a hallucination to me. Someone had to say it, right?
Did you check the guest book to see if they signed?
Angel 1 and Angel 2? Was it Gabriel and the one from Lucifer? His name I can't remember. You know, the black one?
Nah, it's probably just.
No, what had happened was he saw Ben Affleck and Matt
Hmm.
Damon, and they were just scooting out early.
Yeah, I do find it interesting that there's angel sightings all throughout history, almost like UFO sightings are like these days. And
Yes, it sounds just like that.
it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I didn't think that you thought that there could be like empirical evidence of the supernatural.
Aren't you a cessation?
Well, I don't know if I consider that like empirical evidence.
Wait a minute. Aren't you a cessationist?
Did you observe an angel, John?
Touched by an
Yeah.
angel, perhaps?
What do you think empirical evidence is?
Yeah, I guess I just never considered that to be empirical evidence.
Yeah, because no one saw it but you.
Oh.
No one saw it but you. That's the problem. If the whole church had seen these angels, that would have been something, wouldn't it? Maybe
it would have been something.
But they just appeared to you and no one else, right?
From my understanding, yeah.
Is it possible it was a hallucination?
It seemed to me the girl that was there.
You think she saw him?
Did not recognize that two angels were standing behind her. So I would assume that she just never heard their voices.
Yeah, I gotta say, it seems like a hallucination to me because no one else saw them, and therefore they only appeared in your mind.
Yeah, if it was one heck of a hallucination.
Yeah, I would say Jesus was a troll.